Suck monkey.
Spencer is wired, and Collin and I just rolled out of bed.
This is a first.
I gently kissed Collin awake.
Uh-huh.
And he's still not awake. Look at him. He's slumped over.
I think he always sits like that. It's funny, because I'm only wired by contrast. I'm quite tired.
You came in hot.
Well, it's because the window was open, Colin's ass was pointing up at me. Like, how could I not just get, like, really in the zone? I was ready to just punch through the screen and, like...
But instead, he whispered Colin's name, and Collin...
I was just ignoring him. I heard him the entire time.
Why buy a comic that might cost more than a dime? Come meet the brothers who are here to waste your time.
Oh, come on!
Him.
Fuck you.
Welcome back to Dime Comic Bros podcast.
I'm your host, Wiener Boy Hut Jr.
You really are the fuckboy today.
He is.
I'm not.
I am going to fuck your computer wife.
Dude, I'm gonna... Yeah.
I'm not gonna touch that one.
I think he is plankton.
I'm your host, Jacob. Join my co-hosts, Spencer and Collin.
You got some comeback there, buddy? Nope, he's just dropping shit.
You put your feet on that? You savage.
I love you with this. I see my feet go.
Monkey.
Yeah. Oh man.
So we have had a lot of news pile up over the past few weeks since we took a week-ish break and then started off with the topic. So we got a good chunk to get through.
A lot of news.
A lot of news. Collin,
Yep.
can you kick us off, please?
Maybe. So John Romita Jr. John Romita Sr. was a pillar of the Marvel Universe. As an artist and art director, his talent defined decades of Marvel's most well-known storytelling, spanning hundreds of unforgettable comics that brought now iconic characters like Wolverine, Black Widow, The Punisher, Kingpin, Luke Cage, Spider-Man, and Mary Jane to life. The Marvel family has lost one of its legends, and we mourn the loss of a creative giant. Our hearts are with his family and loved ones as we remember his legacy. He didn't write who it's from.
It's from Marvel.
Yeah,
Marvel.
I put all the Marvel.com articles right up front. Oh, I should have always said.
So we've been having a lot of these the past couple of years. We've been covering a good chunk of
Are you saying our show jinxed it?
No, I'm saying this one kind of feels like the actual end of like that era of artists and writers, because we've been having so many pile up over the past few years, and it just kind of feels like this is the, I don't know. It feels like it's kind of like a culmination of all the other ones, age-wise, and like the eras of books. It seems like that entire generation of artists and like defining creators have all passed now.
The age of the dawn is gone, and the dusk is born.
You are special.
Yeah.
Alright. Marvel Studios announced updates to theatrical release schedule. So, Captain America Brave New World moves to July 26th of 24 from May 3rd of 24. So they pushed it back 2 months. Thunderbolts moves to December 20th of 24 from July. So they pushed it back 5 months. Blade moves to February 14th of 25. who knows if that one's actually going to stick. I'm not even counting it out. Because that movie's cursed. It's not coming out for another 10 years. Deadpool 3 moved up from May 3rd to May 3rd of 2024, up from November 8th of 2024. They pushed it up 6 months. Fantastic Four moves to May 2nd of 25 from February 14th of 25. They only pushed it back 3 months for now. Avengers The Kang Dynasty moves to May 1st of 26. They pushed that one back a whole year. And then Avengers Secret Wars moved to 5/7 of 27. They pushed that one back a whole year.
So outside of the usual, okay, cool, good, delay this stuff, I actually have something to say on this one because I've been tracking some behind-the-scenes things that I think are affecting this. Obviously, the writer's strike is a pretty big one.
Yeah.
That has been affecting a few of them. I believe Deadpool 3 is the only movie they've been shooting without writers, which means that Ryan Reynolds can't do improv on set because he's a credited writer and he's in the WGA, which is weird and a bad idea. They should have halted production on that, like everybody else. But
Weird.
Yeah, so that one's the only one currently still shooting right now. And then because of all the delays and the writer's strike stuff, I think Marvel is willing to give more time to the Jonathan Majors situation to level up because he's going to court, and it's going to be a whole drawn-out ordeal. Things are looking at least somewhat more in his favor, but it looks like they're willing to give it the time instead of just dropping him and moving on, because they can push stuff back. And also, thank God, they're pushing the fucking Avengers movies back. There's way too... The next couple phases were way too cramped. They seem to be letting it breathe and letting stuff actually go through the legal system instead of just dropping them immediately because they, I think, are reading the room that people don't want this stuff pushed out quite so quickly because the past few movies have had some pretty mixed results and bad box office and whatnot, so I think this might be like the tide turning a little bit at Marvel. I feel like it's a bigger thing than the normal like release date shuffles. Incredible Hulk is finally on Disney Plus as of June 16th, following the addition of the 3 Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies, and Venom 1. That's from Variety. The notable part on this one is because Hulk's rights have now reverted from Universal back to Marvel. And that's why it's on the service. So Marvel has reacquired the theatrical production and distribution rights for the Hulk character.
That would have been a way cooler headline than The Incredible Hulk is on Disney Plus.
Yeah, I don't know why they're leading with that, because the meat of the article was about the rights, but for some reason they weren't like advertising it that way. It was really weird.
You gave Spencer the really good topic. Batman Gargoyle!
Suck my nuts.
Fuck you. I'm so excited for that one.
I'm so excited!
It just looks so fucking cool. Ugh.
You got the shitty one, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. Why'd you give me the fucking shitty one?
It's not shitty.
Captain Marvel dons a new costume for new run by Alyssa Wong and Jan Bazaldua. This October, enter an all-new era of Captain Marvel as writer Alyssa Wong and Marvel's Stormbreaker artist Jan Bazalda take the reins in a new ongoing series. Captain Marvel #1 will mark a revolutionary shift for the iconic cosmic hero as she gets a glow-up courtesy of superstar artist Jen Bartel. Bartel's recent Hellfire Gala design for Carol was a hit with fans, and now she's delivered a sleeker, modified version for Carol's new journey. She just looks like what's-her-face from Street Fighter. The one whose ass is always out.
I kind of see what you mean there.
Yeah.
The last run of Captain Marvel was like 5 or 6 years, I think, with the same creative team. So this is maybe a new hopping on point. I've been trying to get more into this character because a lot of her books are really good. They're just always shrouded in such a weird either discourse problem or they're getting tied into stupid events like Civil War II, which was worthless garbage, and then like completely screw the character up. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to this.
Tony Stark and Emma Frost tie the knot in X-Men Invincible Iron Man crossover event. Debuting in September, both issues written by Gary Duggan with art by Stefano Caselli and Juan Frigeri, as well as stunning covers by Lucas Werneck. I cut out a ton of the article because the writers were like, "Ooh, Iron Man and then the White Queen Emma Frost. That doesn't seem like a normal matchup." Ooh, and it's like, okay.
So how long are we putting it on before they get divorced?
Yeah,
6 months? 6 months? Or is it a plot thing? Ooh, very sussy.
And then they get divorced.
The funnier part of this was that Marvel accidentally revealed that Kamala Khan was going to be coming back immediately, like everyone thought anyways, because she's on the cover. It's really funny.
Oops.
Like, the nanosecond they murdered her for no reason, they're just like, oh yeah, she'll be back. It completely pulled whatever wind that sail had in it.
A total surprise for nobody.
Yeah. Spider-Boy lands his first ongoing series. Last year, Spider-Boy leapt onto the scene in Dan Slott and Mark Bagley's hit Spider-Man series, where he discovers that no one, not even his mentor and idol Peter Parker, remembered him. But while the characters of the Marvel Universe may not know this mysterious young hero, fans certainly do.
Yep, I remember him.
After scoring sold-out printings of both his first appearance in Spider-Man number 7 and his first solo adventure in last week's Edge of Spider-Verse number 3, Spider-Boy, aka Bailey Briggs, will soon headline his very own solo ongoing series this November. Spider-Boy will be penned by Spider-Boy co-creator Dan Slott, drawn by hotshot artist Paco Medina, and features covers from Spider-Boy co-creator Humberto... Holy mother of God. Oh my god, I know this name. Why can I not say it? I'm having a mental block. Humberto Ramos. Spinning directly out of Spider-Man, the new series will dive headfirst into Spider-Boy's untold past by introducing his arch-nemesis and further exploring his connections to the Spider-Man mythos. Join Spider-Boy as he battles to restore his destiny and retake his place amongst the greatest heroes of the Marvel Universe. Okay, so this kid's like 12.
Yeah.
And that's the appealing part for me, because...
Oh,
Shut up, Collin. It's interesting because one, Dan Slott seems to be the only writer that Marvel can get to do Spider-Man right now, other than Zeb Wells. So I think they're milking him for all he's worth right now. But the character design looks kind of cool in a very like 12-year-old made this costume type of way. He looks
like Blue Beetle.
He looks like he has a bike helmet on because his proportions are all funny because he's a fucking child. I haven't read the issues, but I've been kind of following this, I guess. Dan Slott seems kind of excited about it, and Dan Slott's kind of a notoriously pessimistic person, so it seems like there's something here, and considering Spider-Man comics have been ass for so long,
it's funny
hopefully giving some attention to a new or side character could, like, put the good Spider-Man energy over there.
It's so funny that this is Spider-Boy, because technically Miles was the Spider-Boy for a while, but because of how the whole story works, where he was still Spider-Man, because he wasn't being mentored really by Spider-Man, he was taking over Spider-Man's spot, because he's dead.
It's so fucking weird. And of course, right now, there's I didn't send it to you, but there was another thing for Strange Academy is doing like crossovers with other characters in New York, like they're going on field trips or whatever, and it's like Spider-Man, Moon Knight, Miles Morales, and it's like, come on, guys. It's Spider-Man.
It's Spider-Man
so
and Spider-Man
annoying.
is so stupid. But speaking of what...
A cover artist exists and Spencer suddenly becomes Rorschach.
It's true.
Speaking of what's dead may never die, Marvel's undead rise again in Marvel Zombies Black, White, and Blood. Marvel's hit Black, White, and Blood series delivers the most violent and savage adventures of pop culture's deadliest icons, including Wolverine, Carnage, Moon Knight, and even the Dark Lord of the Sith, Darth Vader. The best-selling line continues this October with the installment fans have demanded. Prepare yourself for unimaginable horror as Marvel Zombies gets the black, white, and blood treatment in a new 4-issue series. Just in time for Halloween season, Marvel Zombies Black, White, and Blood will satisfy fans' cravings for terror with shocking tales from a host of all-star writers and artists. This action-packed, utterly original, gloriously gory anthology series is set in a universe where the Avengers, the X-Men, and Spider-Man and many more Marvel heroes and villains are beset by ever-growing zombie hordes and transformed to flesh-eating monstrosities in a brutal, blood-stained world can hope to survive. Oh, wait, blah, 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 blah.
Can hope survive.
Yeah, can hope survive. Okay, in a brutal, blood-stained world, can hope survive? Or will creeping, gnawing, shambling horror win out at last? First off, lame. Second,
What?
Darth Vader isn't in a black, white, and blood. It's a black, white, and red. So eat ass.
It's the same imprint.
It's not.
You're playing semantics.
It's not, because the whole point is that the blood's supposed to be gory, and yeah, there's supposed to be red, and we all know there's blood, but black, white, and red, the lightsaber is still colored for Darth Vader.
I think the people publishing the book know better than you, Colin.
They actually don't. They can eat my ass.
I actually thought that this
obviously
was a
don't.
really cool announcement because the Marvel Zombies books have always been really hit or miss because they're always tied up in a weird like continuity thing of like, because they're not normal zombies. It's a weird fucking thing. And some of the books have been really good and some of them have been kind of bad.
I do not give one little pebble of a shite about zombies in Marvel.
So
Or zombies at all in my comic books.
So you see what happened was in like 2010 we peaked with zombie popularity and then we got a little tired, it got repetitive, and then we hit like 2019, 2020 like peak oversaturation of zombies, and then we pulled back and a bunch of shows stopped having zombies and they died, and The Walking Dead is dead now, and now I'm coming back full circle and I want more zombies.
No, Walking Dead's not dead.
I know what. Shut up.
Fucking Negan and What's-Her-Face are together on a stupid island fighting. What the fuck? I just do not give a shit about zombies. I don't care. Goodbye.
I'm excited for it, but I think it is dumb to include Darth Vader. It should have been any other Marvel character.
In the thing?
In the Marvel zombies. Yeah.
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 Penises. I'm wondering if Robert Kirkman's going to be involved in this at all, because he is the original creator of this whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah. Alright, last bit of Marvel news. We got a red band trailer for Kraven the Hunter.
You know what? I'm going to declare it.
Oh,
This movie's going to be bad, and I am going to like it. Because it looks like the schlock that I wanted.
Not surprised.
It looks like good
It
schlock.
looks bad.
It looks bad, but it looks like the best thing we could have gotten. There's at least blood, and he runs around with no shoes, and he shoot people.
Oh, okay. So the feet come out, huh? Dogs. Your true feelings towards the dogs come out.
It's probably gonna be bad, but at least it seems like it has a better feeling on what it wants to be over the stupid ass Venom movies. So
Venom.
Russell Crowe looks like he's having fun.
He is getting paid.
He's always having fun.
He has turned into the Samuel Jackson of actors. He'll just do anything.
He knows he knows he can say no, right?
But what if he doesn't want to say no? I thought there was fuck. I had a thought.
You thought there was fun?
Just shut up. You go. Your turn.
Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Throws a bear trap on someone. I'm into it. It's gonna be, obviously it's not gonna be a good movie, but like it seems more not shit than the other ones.
Okay.
Blood.
That's your opinion.
You're killing like your father.
Blood.
On to DC News. This one's from DC.com.
.com.
Green Lantern, War Journal. John Stewart returns to the front lines in an all-new series. A dangerous new villain puts Jon Stewart back on the front lines in Green Lantern: War Journal, a new series from DC. Another exciting series spinning out of Dawn of DC. Writer Philip Kennedy Johnson and artist Montos continue their collaboration with the current Green Lantern series, creating a new tour of duty for the Green Lantern Corps battle-hardened veteran. Jon Stewart's time as a Green Lantern has come to an end, or so he thinks. A family tragedy calls him back home, and as Jon begins to reclaim the brilliant career he once left behind, he tries to embrace a peaceful post-superhero life. But when a terrifying and contagious force with a mysterious connection to Oa appears on Earth, the last Green Lantern of another universe comes seeking the only warrior to face this threat and win. The immortal guardian and builder, Jon Stewart himself. Can this brilliant but brash young lantern help Jon discover the qualities that made him one of the greatest lanterns of the entire multiverse? Available in comic book stores on Tuesday, September 19th.
They've been putting a couple of pages of this like as a prelude in the back of the Green Lantern issues, and it's been pretty good so far. He's been like helping his mom build a porch.
It breaks my brain because there was a quite popular Punisher book called
War Journal.
War Journal.
Up until 30 seconds ago.
And so, having a Green Lantern War Journal, my brain goes, oh, they're connected, but no, they're not.
I think you're just a silly Billy. That's nice.
I used the alternate cover because it's hot.
From DC.com, Batman Gargoyle of Gotham, Rafael Grampa and Matt Lopez deliver a grim and terrifying version of the Dark Knight in an all-new DC Black Label series. When his origin was introduced in Batman #1 in the 40s, Bruce Wayne swore revenge by the spirits of his murdered parents and driven by his belief in an omen became Batman, said Grampa.
Also, suck my nuts, Collin. This is a long one.
Yeah, but it's okay. It's the one. This is okay because it's something I'm looking forward to. I'll put my finger and dick in your mouth.
I'm sure you would like that. For me, this subtle aspect of Bruce's
Bruce beliefs.
For me, this subtle aspect of Bruce's belief system has always been the fundamental core of Batman, and through that lens, I recognize this untold story. Batman Gargoyle of Gotham explores who he is and why he came to be. It makes my dream of bringing my own interpretation of Batman to life a reality as I delve into the darkest corners of his essence. I sincerely hope readers enjoy the ride. In a Gotham City where every day feels darker and more irredeemable than the last, Batman makes a definitive choice to kill off the Bruce Wayne identity for good and embrace the cape and cowl full-time. But though he knows the streets of Gotham, Batman will soon come to find that he hardly knows himself. A serial killer is on the loose, and while the murder victims seem random at first, every clue draws Batman closer to the terrifying truth that they are all connected, not just to each other, but to him as well. When an all-new rogues gallery of utterly depraved villains begin to emerge from the depths of the city, Batman will have to contend with the very nature of evil, including that which lurks in the darkest corners of his own heart, to face what is coming for the city he has sworn to protect. Available in comic book stores on Batman Day, Saturday, September 16th.
I'm very excited for this, actually.
I second that notion.
Because all the art looks so fucking badass. Like, all of the shit, I'm like, this is all the stuff I love, and it looks like it's almost like concept art for, like, the Batman. It just looks that good. I'm like,
Gargoyles is spooky.
yeah, Batman Gargoyle, he omen, he could spook.
I was first introduced to Grampa when he did the primary interior art for Dark Knight, I think it was Last Crusade? No, Golden Child. And while paired with horrendous Frank Miller writing, the art was clear and away the best part of that book.
Yes.
He's a very particular style that is kind of gross, but I like it. It's really, really intricate and unique, and I think that's nice. I like the fact that the majority of the Black Label books, whilst every time one gets announced, we're like, could it not be a Batman book? When they do the Batman books, is usually them symbiotic books where it's just one dude and his editor just making his own thing. And even though I don't like all of them, I like that attitude a lot more than we just wanted to make another story but with extra blood. Three Jokers.
Symbiote.
It's just so good.
Yes.
And then he had Jim Lee.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I saw that one.
And then also, this shit just looks so gnarly. It's so good. I'm so excited for this.
He's so excited. I'm so excited. What are you not excited about?
A lot of things.
Your next topic.
Segue.
Deadline reports that the CW canceled Gotham Knights before the end of its first season. Whoa! Who could have guessed? Whoa, we watched like we knew this already. Wow!
Pee pee poo poo.
Rip Bozo. It's funny for me because I've been watching it and it's not horrible. It's not good. I'm not saying it's good, but it's not the worst thing in the CW universe of DC bullshit.
But also, they're using Gotham and Gotham's characters, and those come at a steep price to name drop.
And it is the cheapest show budget wise. So it really shows. It's weird because all the stuff that's not really Batman related is actually pretty okay. The season ends on a cliffhanger and involves making Two-Face, and it's so clearly
trying to get renewed.
Yeah, which sucks, I guess, on that front. But yeah, I guess Fat L, Rip Bozo. There's only one CW show remaining, but we'll come back to that.
Wow. The new Batman film, Brave and the Bold, lands The Flash director Andy Muschietti. He also directed It Parts 1 and 2 and Mama. Those were pretty much the only good ones I saw in his repertoire. I was trying to be nice. Because the headline says Flash and everybody goes, ew. That's an exclusive from Variety.
Ew. So I think I discussed this with both of you guys off air.
I don't remember.
I have no strong feelings on it one way or another, but the thing that's making it kind of interesting is I feel like James Gunn recognized that Muschietti had no chance of making a good Flash movie, and he was completely fucked over in that scenario. So
wasn't he the 10th director to even get on that movie
during
the whole production anyways?
Yeah, so it seems like it's recognizing talent despite making a turd, and probably being a good team player during it. I mean, he's continued to make the press tours and make some very silly comments about the movie after its release, which are kind of doing damage control, but it seems like he's a good team player, and that's kind of what you need when you're engineering a universe. I hope that this movie has no budget, because that seems to be the biggest issue with The Flash, is it's so fucking expensive, yet nothing has any effort put into it. They just threw money at it.
Hey man, I loved seeing him put a baby in her microwave.
That was the only good part of the movie.
Dude, I told my coworkers about that. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, he put a baby in a fucking microwave. That was the best part of the movie.
So I would have, if I had my way, I probably would have picked somebody else. But I get the type of, I think I see what Mr. Gunathy is looking for, I guess.
Mr. Gunathy.
It's probably a bad idea to have announced this the nanosecond that The Flash came out, though, because it was bombing and getting a horrible reception. So this was a bad time to announce it.
Yeah. Your turn.
Oh, fuck me.
No.
So coming back to the CW, from Deadline.com, the CW/Max's Superman and Lois has set the returning cast for the recently picked up 10-episode fourth season, with 4 of the 12 Season 3 regulars coming back amid budget cuts. Departing as series regulars are Dylan Walsh, Emmanuel Chikri, Eric Valquez, Inde Vergara, Wole Parks, Tyler Bucks, and Sophia Hasmick. Deadline has learned 5 of them have been on the show from the start. As Deadline reported, the renewal of Superman and Lois and All-American Homecoming came with significant budget cuts that included reducing the number of series regular cast members. For Superman and Lois, the process has been completed. For the sophomore All-American Homecoming, it is still ongoing. A strong linear and digital ratings performer, Superman and Lois is more expensive than the other CW homegrown dramas due to extensive special effects. In addition to trimming the cast, the series would likely lean more heavily into its core premise as a family drama going forward, while still honoring its superhero roots. Additionally, unlike other renewed legacy CW scripted series, which received 13-episode pickups, Superman and Lois got a 10-episode season 4 order, likely tied to its higher cost. And the other part of this is that Mr. Lex Luthor himself is now a series regular for season 4. This is cool.
I want to include that we try to publish the news script that we are reading because of all the names that we have to say.
Yes.
You
Fucked up many of them.
one of them is Navarre, and you called them like Vaccaro.
I'm stupid, okay? I'm trying.
Buddy.
It makes sense, though, that the show's getting trimmed, but it's cool that it's still getting renewed, because this has been their most well-received series critically since, Arrow.
It's frustrating because they've been cutting all of the dead weight, and then they're still cutting the budget for this one, too. Like, their last remaining one, and it doesn't boost their budget, it actually cuts their budget.
Yeah. I have a feeling that season 4 will be the end of it, but season 3 just ended on a cliffhanger with a really cool Doomsday reveal, so it makes sense that they're going to give it one more shot. The one thing, my biggest complaint with the series has been its cast is too fucking big, particularly season 2 and 3. They have way too many cast members. It's a lot of company intrigue and, the Kent brothers' friends and stuff, and the scope is a little too big. Whereas the first season was a lot more well-focused on the family and the villains.
Family,
yes. So this is cool. I'm glad that it didn't just completely get booted, but I definitely don't think it's going to get a 5th season.
From Nerdist.com, a Suicide Squad anime series featuring Harley Quinn and the Joker is on the way. Japan LLC revealed that production has begun on Suicide Squad Isekai, an all-new original anime series. I give none. No shits. It's
shits,
going to be...
no fucks.
Let me even look at this thing.
It looks bad.
Yeah, that's fucking ass. I don't want to see this stupid-ass lolly shit.
On the other hand,
It's
their
a
lead,
short one, so suck my
lead
nuts.
image is Harley Quinn making an Ahegao face. So I'm interested.
Making a what face?
She's basically doing an Ahegao face. It's pretty
A
fucking...
Hagao face?
I'm not doing it.
What? No, what is that?
The fucking cum girl face. You know the thing.
Alright,
Wow, you know the name?
Of course I do. I live on the internet, bitch.
You are terminally online.
Yes. The thing with this that's really funny to me is that for some reason DC is pushing Suicide Squad to be like an A-list thing so much, and it's not supposed to be. And also they're making the same mistake that Suicide Squad 2016 did by putting Harley Quinn and the Joker at the front of it.
Yeah, it
It's
doesn't
so
make any
silly.
sense. They don't show anybody else but those two.
Oh, gross. Come on. It's from Wit Studio.
Well, you don't like fuckboy E-boy Joker? You don't like that? I thought that was your thing. I thought that was your favorite type of joke man.
Fuck off. No, Wit Studios. Wit Studios is the studio that had Attack on Titan before. So ever since they got rid of Attack on Titan and gave it to Mappa, they've just been going down fucking hell.
I can verify that information.
I accidentally gave myself the shitty one. I thought I was getting a dispenser.
Damn, I mean, I can take
I
it.
didn't want to include it. 'Cause
Why?
It looks like ass.
Really?
Witness a miracle in new The Chosen One trailer. While Mark Millar has seen mixed results with adaptations of his work, 2021's Jupiter Legacy was met with bombs. It was bad. It was very, very bad. That hasn't stopped Netflix moving forward with other Millar World projects. The latest of these is The Chosen One, an adaptation of Millar and Peter Gross's American Jesus. Released back in 2004 under the name Chosen, the comic book followed a 12-year-old boy who discovers he has the power of Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ!
And is destined to face the Antichrist. First announced back in 2018, the series is finally hitting Netflix on August 16th, with a trailer having now been released. The multilingual series sees its location switched to Mexico, with Millar saying in a statement that the location change makes the mythological much more authentic and the apocalyptic all the more real.
Mexico filter.
A synopsis for the show reads, Jody, a 12-year-old boy in Baja California, suddenly discovers that he has Jesus-like powers. He can turn water into wine, make the crippled walk, and perhaps even raise the dead. As the evangelical and the Yaqui leaders in town try to get him to use his powers to save mankind, all Jody wants to do is impress the girl he likes and stand up to his bullies. As Jody struggles and eventually comes to terms with his destiny, everything gets thrown for a loop when he realizes he discovers the truth around his identity. It looks bad.
I thought this looked good.
It looked awful.
Oh. fat L on your part. Although, admittedly, yeah, all the Millar adaptations have been pretty bad. Mark Millar is already kind of famous for unknown reasons. His comics are mostly pretty mid. There's some that are really bad. There's some stuff he's done that's really good. It's more, let's say his politics bleeds into his comics in the bad way, where his comics are all about being an authoritarian.
I think he was...
Bad beans.
Can I please?
I'm sorry.
He was making comics at the same time that Garth Ennis was. They feel very similar.
But Ennis is
Makes
good.
good comics.
Yes.
So my point is, they were both edgelords, edging the whole time, edging each other.
True.
But Garth Ennis is the better edger.
Oh, for sure. I thought it looked okay. Like, I'm gonna at least check out a couple of episodes. If it's bad, I'm not gonna watch the whole thing. But when we had talked about it a couple of months ago with the proper announcement from Netflix that like they were adapting it and shifting it over to be like more Mexican. I thought that was an interesting change, and I think admittedly the whole show will have a Mexico filter on it, but hearing Mark Millar's words talking about making the mythology feel more authentic and more apocalyptic does entirely scream Mexico filter racism to me, but that's because I know more about Mark Millar outside of his comics than I want to.
Wow.
Doesn't look horrible.
Beans are beans.
Beans are beans!
Something else that doesn't look horrible.
Wow.
Secret Invasion Episode 3. Literally no notes. I was bored. Nothing happened. I watched it and went, what just happened?
I am going on strike. I'm going on strike! I watched the first episode last night with Jacob. Jacob and I have both agreed that this is bad, but Jacob didn't say a word the entire time because he wanted me to have my own opinion.
He kept asking me questions. I'm like, nope.
He ignored because he wanted me to have my own opinion.
Collin, why were you doing the boomer dad, are they gonna die questions?
No, I was just like, what the fuck's going on? I was just so... Not like questions as in, tell me more. It was just more like rhetorical. Like, what the fuck's going on with this? Or, like, whatever, like...
Is it like this the whole show?
Okay, yeah. So the first episode I watched, and and halfway through, I'm like, this episode's still fucking going on, and literally nothing has happened still.
One of your best questions was, what makes these scrolls different, or something like that.
No, my thing is, why do I care?
Yeah.
Why should I care?
About these
We've
scrolls.
only seen scrolls in Away from Home.
Far from home.
Far from Home, whatever. Far from Home, at the end. And then in Marvel, Captain Marvel or whatever, like once.
I mean, the whole movie's about them, but okay.
Yeah, but barely, if I remember correctly. It wasn't even like...
It was the main plot, but okay.
It didn't feel like it when I watched it because it's so dog shit. But, like, why do I care? Why is,
You asked me what makes these scrolls separate from the other scrolls, and I was like, beans, I'm not answering, I'm not touching that.
Yeah, so there's that.
The show's
There's
having
that.
difficulty answering that question.
There's that. Then there's also... All the CGI looks like ass, except for maybe the scrolls changing or whatever. But also... How the fuck are they changing in broad, like, in that giant area into all these different things?
And nobody goes, whoa, that was weird.
Yeah, nobody notices at all. It's just, oh, let's put this card in front of him. Oh, he changed. Whoa! I don't give a shit. It's not cool. I'm not 5. And you're trying to make a Beans Marvel movie? To stop treating us like we're fucking 5. Why do I care? Oh, also, why did you kill a... kind of main character in the first fucking episode in the dumbest fucking way, and she's been a part of Marvel since fucking Avengers 1. And before that, probably.
Because fridging.
It's fucking ass. This entire thing's ass. Guys keep pointing at each other. A guy keeps pointing at his daughter with a gun for way too long while he's trying to talk to her. And he's like, oh, I'm not gonna shoot you, I promise. He's still fucking pointing the gun at her. And then he unloads it and blah, blah, blah. Like, what the fuck is that? And then we see Nick Fury. The only thing that seemed kind of intriguing, but seemed so My whole thing is that we're thrust into some bullshit way too early. Like, there's no build-up before the show. Like,
Thrust.
yeah.
I made the same face when you said thrust.
Whatever. But listen to me here. The idea of Nick Fury, like, not being on his A game is actually the only interesting part. Slightly interesting if they did it correctly, which I don't feel like it is.
Because his A game in episode 3.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
No, no.
But Nick Fury...
He's on the Scrollussy game.
Oh my word, shut the fuck up. Him not being on his A game...
I am agreeing with everything Colin's saying. He just is doing it way more hyperbolically than I've been saying.
It's funny. It's great.
Can I just, like, try to get there?
Yes.
Okay.
Get there.
Oh, get there?
Please shut the fuck up, or I'm going to leave the recording. Him not being on his A game is interesting because we've always known him to be 3 steps ahead and blah blah blah, but everything's so forced into existing in this show. It doesn't feel like there's any like natural progression. It's just now we're here. Oh, we do this. I said no, but now we're here and blah 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 and. Skrulls, also their leader, he looks like I want to fucking beat the shit out of him. He looks so fucking annoying.
I thought you were gonna drop a slur. He looks like a... What? What? Where are you going?
He just looks so... The only reason why I wanted to keep watching was Mommy, obviously.
Oh, so you're mad that they killed Mommy.
No.
He didn't get that far, dumbass.
No, Mommy. Game of Thrones Mommy.
Yes.
Show's ass.
I forgot that they killed her.
Show is... They killed her?
What?
In the 2nd episode?
3rd.
Show is fucking ass! And I'm not watching it anymore!
Ow. Thank you for that, Colin.
Spencer, do you have any notes?
I actually do.
Whoa.
So episode 3 was a bit of a pickup from episode 2 for me. It delved a bit into Nick and his wife's relationship. They had a pretty solid back and forth scene about, him being blipped and then him disappearing once he came back and fucking off into space because he lost his mojo. And, her going through all of that emotional distress, I thought that stuff was really interesting. The thing that's holding the show together for me is very much so Nick Fury and Talos's back and forth. I really like their chemistry, and I find their dynamic to be very interesting. But
Chemistry.
You do realize that people that aren't fucking have chemistry, right?
No, you took that out of context. I said chemistry.
Out of context.
I said chemistry as in it's fucking ass because it's forced. It feels like the entire conversations that they have are forced.
There's a difference between the conversations that they're having are contrived, because the show is very contrived in its plotting, by all means. I was hoping that would improve. It is not. But the chemistry between the actors is really good, and I like the way that their relationship is set up, and I find that back and forth to be interesting.
So, that scene where they're arguing on the train?
Yes.
So I did see that. That's probably the only scene that I have seen that actually looks somewhat good.
Yes.
Yes, there you go.
But the problem with the show is the thing that I was getting at once we watched episode 2 is it's the same fundamental problem with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. The visuals, for the most part, are better. There's a lot more actual camera work and actual lighting and real sets and stuff, but the plotting is nonsensical and the character motivations are not written clearly. They did a butt ton of interviews, like everybody for this show. We're talking about, X, Y, and Z, this is why my character does this, and none of it is coming through in the performances because the script is so fucking bare bones and it's slow. And I like slow shit, but I'm feeling kind of where Colin's feeling, just not at 150%. I think I kind of want to drop this show and I'll just watch it when it's over, because this is getting kind of exhausting for me. Despite enjoying most of the scenes in a vacuum, there is no tension moving forward because the show is refusing to make its analogies and real world connections clear. It's not committing to anything, and
It's not doing anything.
pussyfooting around like crazy. And they put themselves in this position because of the way they introduced the Skrulls in Captain Marvel, which was interesting, but now that they want to make some of them bad, they're not justifying it well enough, like, coherently.
I think my biggest problem is that I am so used to Marvel being, like, mediocre right now that it just keeps going worse and worse, and now we're at this point where it's like, everything's fucking ass. What am I doing watching this show or movie that feels like it's written by, like, a 12-year-old who just discovered how to write an outline?
What do you know about fucking ass?
I know a lot about fucking ass.
What do you know about 12-year-olds?
Apparently not enough, not as much as you do, Spider-Boy.
Alright, I did a thing. I did a Marvel thing.
Please tell me it's a good thing.
It's a big, big thing. A long time ago, like 6 months ago, I read the Jonathan Hickman X-Men Omnibus. And I was like, what in the heckin' is going on? And it turns out you have to read this big heckin' good Marvel thing. House of X and Powers of 10 was like the start of Jonathan Hickman's reign on X-Men. X-Men comics were, as Collin would say, fucking ass. And then Jonathan Hickman got his hands on it and made it God tier. So this was the kickoff to that. It's weird because I only figured it out in the last issue. There's 6 issues of House of X and 6 issues of Powers of 10. And I figured out in the last issue that the main character is Moira Taggart. She has this cool thing where she lives and then dies. And then lives and then dies.
Holy fucking shit.
And then lives.
I love how he's spoiling the biggest twist of, like, all X-Men history. Keep going.
I'm making it stupid though, so it doesn't make any sense. Poor Moira Taggart is stuck in Groundhog Day. A very annoying movie that people have ripped off many times, like that Tom Cruise one.
I love that movie.
Of course you do.
Anyway. She figures out mutants are fucked. They can't win. But then maybe she figures out that they can? Maybe. It's very confusing. There's a lot going on. Professor X makes an island, or finds an island, and brings all the mutants there. All of them. And makes it a sovereign nation, which is really cool. I liked that. Very good beans.
I love ethno-states.
Good beans.
Do you start on this book?
Yes, that is the start of all of the good X-Men stuff. The monocolored series, like the X-Force.
Yeah. All the ones that blue.
Marauder is blue, and X-Men is red.
Yes, the whole era.
I start now.
That's been the... Yeah, the
That is the
modern...
start.
I would,
You said you start now!
Yeah, but that's like the figuratively, because I still have so many of your books already still.
That's true.
Yes, that's what
I've
I'm
been
saying.
looking for one.
Yes.
There's a lot of pages in here that feel like they're in a file of some sort. So that's kind of strange. It's good to start out with, but there's a lot of pages that were like, this is so far up its own ass, I don't know what's going on anymore.
so you mean like reading Department of Truth? I say that positively and with much love in my heart.
I haven't finished the first one yet.
They're dense.
That's why.
This was like, there's a lot of pages where it's like, I don't even know what this is talking about, and it's giving me a full debriefing of what it's talking about, and I'm still lost on page 1.
It's taking your briefs off.
What else happened?
Emma Frost can take his briefs off.
Yes.
Professor X has a big head.
That's his latest model of Cerebro, and it's cool.
It's literally the Maker. It's so funny because they're both Jonathan Hickman characters. He has a thing for a guy in a black skin suit with a big head. It's really funny.
a large portion of this book is like, there's timelines and stuff happening and it doesn't make sense, but they bring it all together and it's really tightly knit. You just have to push through it. At the end, the sovereign nation of X-Men's judge a bad guy. They say, you bad. And he's like, you're making me an example. And they say, fuck you. I didn't really like that. It didn't feel very well justified, I guess. But besides that, the art is hot. Everybody looks great. Everything looks great. It looks so good. It looks unique too. Like with those, with the way the whole book is laid out, you cannot pick it up and not know what it is.
Damn, it looks like X-Men.
I don't know what else to say. Like, this was really, really good. I enjoyed it. It took me a long time to read it, though.
Shit looks dense for only being 12 issues.
Very, very dense. I kept checking the back, like, are you sure this is only 12 issues? Because I've read 12 issues in one sitting, and this has taken me, like, 3 months.
Damn.
It's a lot.
It's heavy.
I got it at a local comic book store. I don't remember if it was Jetpack or Stairway for cover price, $45.
Whew.
Yeah.
That's a bit steep.
It is.
Whoa!
But it's also dense, and it's quite enjoyable. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads.
You got your money's worth?
It's pushing it, but yes.
Damn. Time-wise, you got your money.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Spencer, what'd you do?
So when you said strange, Colin and I both started swaying at you. Because, fun fact, I'm still on a Doctor Strange kick.
I knew it.
Oh, you guys are mean. You haven't seen that half of it.
I was just gonna ask how much longer.
We chillin'. We'll get there one day. I'm gonna get through all of it, and then we'll move on to another character. So I read Doctor Strange, Strange Origin. It is written by Greg Pak with art by Emma Rios, the woman who I talked about a couple of weeks ago who did a book I really didn't like. So this is a modern-ish retelling of the origin story. It is a 6-issue miniseries from 2015.
Is that the one that you said she's a talented artist, but you didn't even like the art in that book?
That is correct.
All right.
In this book...
What the fuck?
You were here for that. It was the one that I described kind of like it was like an anime light novel.
Yeah.
That one. I did not enjoy that book whatsoever.
Right.
But I definitely looked at her stuff and I was like, there is clearly skill here. This is just not for me.
Right.
This book is much better. Still not really for me. I don't follow her on Instagram. But I definitely, her talent really shone through in this book. And it also includes the original issue #1 of Doctor Strange from somewhere in the 60s.
A long time ago.
Which I thought was a really nice touch, because this was coming out right before the movie came out, so it's supposed to be a modern retelling of the origin with some old material in it to get you rolling. And I like when they do that. Marvel has a really bad history of doing that. DC's been doing that a lot right now with James Gunn, just pushing out the books in addition to the movies. Like, this is what we pulled from, which is good for the business model. So it's kind of a buddy cop dynamic between Strange and Wong. Strange travels the world. He, is trying to cure his hands. It's a pretty straightforward, exactly what you'd imagine for a modern retelling of a Doctor Strange origin story. Wong is a douche, and it's a really weird choice. So you have two douchey guys, but they still play off of each other in a very buddy cop type of way, whereas Strange is very sciencey and very Reddit atheism, and then Wong is simultaneously like a massively arrogant douche, but he's also extremely up his own ass about his spiritual beliefs, and it's a very bizarre dynamic. I thought it worked pretty well, but the problem with it is it doesn't gel with a lot of the other material that Wong is in. I haven't read all of the old stuff, so I might be wrong on that front, but Wong has been characterized a lot of different ways, and this is just not one of them, so it was kind of weird. The art was a lot better across the board. It felt a lot more high effort. It felt a lot less digital, whereas her previous work felt very Microsoft Paint with a mouse type. It's really insulting, but that's kind of what I felt like. The art was a lot better. The coloring was also a lot better. It was more balanced in the color palette. There was more variety. There was more gradients and shading, which was really nice. The thing that I really liked about this story was that it includes Strange being like a traveling doctor. It's a really weird element, but it means that it gives him more of a, I'd say, well-rounded personality. He's seen other culture. It makes him kind of come across as less arrogant, whereas instead of it being this really arrogant American, prick, it's more like he is a dick. He's not, like, categorically a dick, if that makes any semblance of sense. Like, Strange is not a good person, but he still does good things in spite of it. And I think that dynamic works really well in this book. So he goes to different countries and helps in, like, traveling hospitals and with, like, the Red Cross or whatever. And I thought that was really cool. The plot was fine. It was a very basic, we need to get the MacGuffin. Holy shit, we found Wong. Oh, we should go get the MacGuffin. And then they get the MacGuffin. It was okay. The cover was really fantastic. I believe it was also done by Rios. It features primarily like the full blue and yellow getup without the red accents, and whilst Doctor Strange's outfit has kind of stayed the same for the most part through all of his history, and it's very iconic, the classic blue with the high collar look from the original Lee and Ditko stuff is really cool, and I like that they were referencing that a lot here. I bought it for $11 on Amazon, and I thought that was a pretty good deal. I don't know if I'm going to go back to it, but it was definitely a worthy investment of my $11. And I definitely understand why they made it, more than anything else. It didn't feel like a cash grab. It felt like it was an actual story that people were trying to tell, and they just happened to be dealing with a corporate mandate to make a modern origin story. Pee-pee poo-poo man.
Pee-pee poo-poo man.
What do you got for me?
Jacob and I, together last night, watched The Cabin in the Woods.
Hell fucking yeah, baby!
When five college friends arrive at a remote forest cabin for a little vacation, little do they expect the horrors that await them. One by one, the youths fall victim to backwoods zombies, but there's another factor at play. Two scientists are manipulating the ghoulish goings on, but even as the body count rises, there is yet more at work than meets the eye. Okay, so
I love this movie, for the record.
I know, except for the silver bullet, of course. This movie follows five friends, and they are archetyped as the fool, the whore, the virgin, the athlete, and the scholar. As we're watching this, Jacob was pointing out that the fool, the guy, the pothead, was like me. And I'm like,
No, you said it.
no, okay, no.
You said it first.
I was like, that kind of feels like me. And I was like, then you kept laughing because you saw it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, fuck, am I just a pothead without the pot?
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't know that! Because he was like, yeah, the system and fuck all this. You know, the cops, they're not going to go after a guy that has a tall bong. They fear this man because he can see farther than they can.
I love that bit.
Fuck, I'm just a pothead without the pot!
You like fucking regular show, of course you are.
I actually haven't finished regular show, but yeah, a little bit.
Collin had the five archetypes figured out before they explained it in the movie too.
Well, yeah.
Big brain.
Yes, I am big brain. I had a lot of the things figured out, except for the part that I don't like. So, all five of these guys, they go to this cabin. The fool is thinking that everything's acting a little weird because some of his friends are acting out of character. And this is due because of the scientists and the weird what is it? The ritual scientists have all like basically planted stuff in their life. Like the whore is being a dumb blonde because of the dye in her hair, does some weird things with her chemical, makes her dumber. Whatever is being pumped into the athlete's face is making him act like a jock, even though he's literally like a economics major or whatever.
Nerd.
And then the scholar is acting even more nerdy, but I don't think they did much to him because he was basically just the same. He fitted already. They made the virgin seem like a virgin, but even though she's not, because they couldn't find a virgin for some reason. They don't explain that, like why it had to be these 5 people. They still don't explain that.
Nobody ever asked us.
Wow.
The Fool is immune to all of the toxins and whatever because of all the weed that he's smoking.
And they said they even laced his weed.
Yeah, he's just immune to all of it.
He is built different.
I love him because he knew what was going on, and then I saw that like he was about to get ganked. So I'm like, what the fuck? And I sat there for a little bit. I'm like, they didn't show him actually die. He's not dead. And then he comes back and he saves what's her face. They find out that it's a whole weird gimmick thing, and then they get into the box that all the zombies came from, and they find all the other monsters. And it was actually like, even though CGI is kind of shit, it was still a really cool sequence to see all these boxes moving around and reorganizing and all that. And they get out of it, and fast forward, they find out that they're a part of a ritual. The Fool, the Whore, the Athlete, the Scholar, and the Virgin. The Virgin has to be the last one to die. Doesn't matter what order. Actually, the Whore is the first one to die, and the Virgin's the last one to die. The other 3, it doesn't matter. That's how they were saying it. And what was cool was... actually, I'll start with what's not cool. What's not cool is that they did this whole ritual because there's the ancient gods that they have to appease. And I'm like, come on! I would have loved if you just made the government just bad. Now you're trying to make them... They're doing a bad thing because they think, quote unquote, think it's good, but it's still bad. But that's still putting some shed of, like, light onto them as any type of good, because they're trying to still do the greater good, technically. But if you just make the government bad, like, make it even more weird. Like, oh, they want blood because government are bloodsuckers, you know? All the bootlickers that like them, yeah, they just want to suck all that blood out of that cock, you know? I would have loved that, because government bad.
Do you know how cock works?
He does not.
Have you not listened to the metal song by What's-Their-Faces that's about pissing blood?
It must be gore.
It's not gore, actually.
It's
It's like
metal writing.
Apopalocalypse or whatever. Apocalyptica. Anyway.
fake words.
Eucalyptus.
Yeah.
Got it.
Hernia. I don't like the gods part. It's just so out of left field, and I wish they didn't do that.
They also wrote themselves into a corner because of it. The ancient gods rise, and then the end of the movie.
Yeah, and the end of the, so basically they have to kill the Virgin's pointing the gun at the Fool, the guy who's been there to help her the entire time, and he lets a werewolf bite her. And all that, I'm like, it's starting to get written badly now. And she, like, apologizes for trying to shoot him and whatever, but they eventually just die together. But what was cool was they're both sitting on the stairs, and their archetype pictures are right next to them. So I was like, that's cool. Then we got the Virgin, then we got the Fool. Even though he's not dead, but there's blood all over it. And then a giant human-looking hand comes out, which I thought was really dumb. I was like, make it look like Alien or something. Why is the ancient gods human-looking? Make it like fucking tentacles. I don't know.
Big monkey.
Make it, yeah. No gods. Just make the government look entirely bad.
Wow.
Damn.
Because they are.
Damn.
Yeah. And the silver bullet that Jacob was withholding from me
I didn't
the
tell him.
entire time.
Because I didn't want to ruin his experience.
Even though I remember seeing Joss Whedon's name in it, was that this movie is directed by Joss Whedon. No wonder the ending sucked, because he can't write a good ending. He thinks he's like Stephen King or something. So that was my movie. And I had fun, because there's boobies and there was butts.
Just so you know, he didn't direct it, he co-wrote it. It was directed by Drew Goddard.
Okay, whatever.
Whatever.
I gotta do this quick, and then I gotta leave. I'm sorry. I read the Riddler One Bad Day. And it's fun, it's quick. I was disappointed by the ending because it mimics the first One Bad Day. And I was like, I really hope the rest of them aren't like this, and Spencer said no, they're not. But the art is good, And yes.
That's the best one. The Riddler. Fuck you! The Riddler one's awesome!
It was good, but I just started out. If that's the best one, yeesh.
Oh, well, yeah, it does suck. The best one's the first one, yeah.
Yeah.
I would argue that the Clayface one is equal in quality.
Oh, shit, I forgot about the Clayface one, actually. The Clayface one's so good.
I like that one more. I think they're about the same quality-wise.
Fuck.
There's only about 2 of them that are, like, fine. None of them are bad, from where I was
I
sitting.
gotta buy the Clayface one. Actually, I might just buy the box set, honestly.
That thing's gonna be like $250.
The box set's already out.
No, so...
It's empty.
So there's the initial box set, which comes with the reprint of the original coloring of Killing Joke and Riddler, and that one's like $50. And that comes with the cardboard box. And then when it's done, they're collecting it for like $250, which is still technically cheaper because they're charging like $30 each because they're fucking hardcovers. It's insanely overpriced.
I thought it was like $22 or something.
But
It's ridiculous.
Are they releasing all of them as soft covers?
Not yet, no.
Okay, because
They're all hardcovers.
I know
right?
there's there's a Riddler one. There's a soft cover.
They were all released in the weird. They're kind of like paperbacks, but they're still technically issues. But that's how they were all originally released. Now they're all hardcovers. I highly doubt they'll ever put them in paperback because Killing Joke has never made it into paperback in its entire fucking lifetime.
Why?
Because publishers are stupid, and because it's a very small book, and they're all very small books. They're like 64 pages.
Mm-hmm.
And they want the covers to make
Yeah, the
them
Killing
look...
Joke is just like one issue, isn't it?
It's a one-shot, yeah. They want the covers to make it be thick. So if you just put it as paperback, they're fucking tiny.
Okay.
That's what I was referring to with the OG One Bad Day. The Killing Joke. Yeah.
You had a moment.
Yep.
A blonde moment.
Yeah.
We put blonde hair dye in your mustache.
I think I've only read it once.
It's worth reading
it's
with
good.
It's worth reading with both types of coloring. I think it's one of those things I revisit, but I don't enjoy very much anymore, just because it's kind of bled out in the bad ways. You know,
that book is kind of like the Skyrim of comic books. Like, why has it been re-released and rated so highly for so long? Why? It's good.
because important, and because fanboys are cringe. Ooh, 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 ooh. So,
You are Monkey Man.
Constantine.
Yep.
Jenny Sparks. Dude, what the fuck? That's disgusting. You definitely shit a little.
I did, I swear. I swear, it's just a little wet back there because I haven't wiped this morning. The butt sweat. It's a summer butt sweat, you know. So it's a little wet. Constantine versus Jenny Sparks.
With no powers. Because they're basically the same archetype. They just have entirely different skill sets. So, just lean, angry, blonde British smoking a
I
cigarette.
feel like Jenny Sparks might win because Constantine's kind of a bitch. So he's like that type of bisexual that like seems super strong, but he's actually like a bitch, kind of like without like what gives him the edge. He's kind of a bitch in most comics.
Yes.
Jenny Sparks is like, I'm gonna fucking dick you down. Like that's just what Jenny Sparks, or you're gonna fuck me good, boy.
Oh my God.
Like that's just how
I
Jenny
feel like you're
Sparks is.
definitely... I think... So I was saying a fight, not them having sex.
No, but I mean, like, they're both bisexual, so of course it's gonna be like a sexual fight. Come on.
That is true.
Like John Constantine wouldn't have sex with the female version of himself, or even just the male version.
He's had sex with Satan. Of course he's gonna have sex with Jenny
I
Sparks.
forgot he had sex with Satan.
I didn't like that book, but I loved that ending. That was so funny. So the reason I was thinking about this is someone was speculating on the upcoming... apparently the part of the Authority are going to be some of the antagonists in Superman Legacy, and obviously the Authority is the next movie after that. So speculation about like how the teams are going to work out and whatever. And because Jenny Sparks is such a 20th century character, someone was suggesting that they might do basically it's Jenny Sparks, but they're going to call her what's his name?
Constantine?
No, holy crap, brain. Manchester Black, or they'll be. It's gonna because they're almost the same.
Okay, hold on. I need to ask a question before you keep going. So you know the All-Star Superman,
Yeah.
obviously the book, but also like the cartoon.
Yeah.
Are those guys the authorities? Those superhero powered? Okay, because every time I see, like, in my brain and I saw authorities, I'm like, Jenny Sparks and that, like, British dude always, like, because they have the same fucking powers.
No, so what it is so there's the authority were from another publisher, they got folded in, all that stuff. And then there are the, what are they called? Fuck, I don't remember what the group is called, but yeah, those characters from the one of the best Superman stories ever. The thing is, they've been trying to kind of smush them together. The Grant Morrison book that I talked about a couple months ago did that a lot, where it's Manchester Black is part of the authority, and he basically fills the same role as Jenny Sparks because they're basically the same person. Mm-hmm. So someone was speculating about, like, they might basically just do Jenny Sparks' powers, but in Manchester Black, but it'll probably be a girl. And
I'd
it was
be
just
fine with that.
Yeah, it was just something I was thinking about. I'm like, I don't honestly. You can do that any which way. It's fine with me. It was just something I was
wanted
thinking.
to be a girl.
You just want to smash.
Well, yeah, because she's kind of hot because she's fucking hates life.
It was just something I was thinking about, and then it just because of the archetypes and stuff. Okay, so speaking of archetypes.
Okay. So yeah, my final answer is that Jenny Sparks would beat the shit out of Constantine easily and then take him down.
I don't disagree with that.
Oh. Shitted.
Thanks, buddy. So, speaking of Doctor Strange origin stories, I read another one.
Stop fucking reading those.
No, this one's really good. So I read Doctor Strange Beginnings and Endings. It is another Marvel Knights book, like I talked about last week. So this is the second of 2 Marvel Knights books. They're not directly connected. This one was written by J. Michael Straczynski with art by Sam Barnes and Brandon Peterson. So the big thing with this, it's a 6-issue miniseries from 2004. The big kicker with this one is he doesn't get into a car accident, actually. He's on a skiing incident, and he gets fucked up. It's actually really interesting, because I knew about that being different before I read the book, and I don't really care. But this book sets up him and Wong meeting when Wong was a kid. He was like a sick kid that he had helped in, I believe it's Tibet, don't quote me. So it was a traveling doctor. I really like how much a lot of these mini-series have been emphasizing the traveling doctor bit. So he was like a med student, he traveled abroad, he helped people. Strange used to be idealistic and good, and just as he went back to med school, he finished up, he did all his work in the hospitals. By the time, he's a proper doctor and he's like 30, he's just completely lost the desire to help people, and he's gotten into, damani and all that sort of fun stuff. So this one has a really weird, it's a very busy book. There's a lot of characters in this that are from the Doctor Strange mythos. I mean, Clea pops up for a little bit. The Ancient One has basically been stalking Strange his whole life, and waiting for him because, the Ancient One can just see, the next Sorcerer Supreme or whatever. So his best friend is the bad guy, it turns out. I know, crazy. Whereas he is like an agent of Dormammu or something along those lines.
Dormammu?
I know, Dormammu.
Of course it's Dormammu. It's
Yes.
always Dormammu.
Yes.
Bethesda confirmed.
True. So like it, and then he tries to fuck Strange's sister, which is a whole thing. There's a lot of family drama, which I liked because that's something that's really ignored. In Multiverse of Madness, there was a short bit where Strange was talking to another Strange variant about their sister who had died, and that's one of the reasons he became a doctor, and I really like that part of his characterization. That one's been done a few different ways. She might be like paralyzed or have cancer or whatever, and I like that as a driving motivator. I like it being, I don't know, it adds a lot more texture to him as a character. Not because people work like that in general. Like, the Flash gets into crime investigating because he wants to exonerate his dad.
Yep.
It's like, it just adds a little bit more of a personal connection, even though real life doesn't work like that. So I really liked that bit. The plot is very much so, we've been stalking you forever, and you are going to help us. He becomes like destitute in the search to try to fix his hands. He turns to crazy, weird hippies and magic and shit, and then he walks into this, he finds Wong. Wong has grown up, and he's like, yes, you should come meet my mentor, whatever. And then they go into, like, the TARDIS, but it's a brick building, basically. Like, the Sanctum Sanctorum is, like, an in-between space.
Yeah, like how it usually is.
Right, and it's just something that a lot of the comics don't really do. They just act like it's a building.
I like that the movies do that, though.
That was one of the parts of the movies I really, really like, is it's very much so infinite space inside of a building, and it's really cool. And this one is just like, they keep going up and up and up and upstairs, and it's like, where the fuck are we going? Like, I didn't think this building was this big. It's right down the street from his apartment, and he's never seen it before. Like, it's right there. That's part of, like, his arc is, like, you know, he went all the way around the world, and the thing that could have helped him was right down the street, you know? So I like that sort of stuff. The plotting is definitely a little sequel baity by the end. It doesn't resolve all of the conflict. The way that they introduce him seeing magic was really cool. So instead of like the movies do, where he gets, like, you know, astrally projected out of his body, this one, they, like, basically turn a light switch on in his head, so when he leaves, he's all magic fucking hippies, and he runs off. And then he sees the world for what it really looks like with all the magic going on. So, like, the fucking city's on fire, there are demons everywhere, he loses his marbles, he goes back, you know, he does his whole, okay, I see the way, this is the way, teach me, you know, does that whole thing. I really like this book. It is a very complicated, cramped, I think is a good word. There's a lot of characters, and there's a lot of stuff that it's trying to set up, that it is either alluding to other previous versions of Doctor Strange or is trying to get sequels for, and I couldn't really tell which one's which. The art is really well done. The coloring is fantastic. It does have that turn of the century, early 2000s look, which can be hit or miss, but I think in this book it looked pretty good. So it's very glossy. Everything has like a sheen on it, but I think it worked pretty well here. The themes that it goes through are a lot more they're less surface level than I was expecting, especially with it being like a Marvel Knights, edgy book. It was a lot less, hey, Strange, you should not be a dick and you should help people. It delves a bit more into like why he wants to help people and why he became a doctor and stuff like that.
So summary is book good.
Book is very good. This is one of my favorite Doctor Strange like miniseries books. Okay. I bought it for $17 off of, I believe, Amazon. It came damaged, which I'm fucking livid about.
Bad.
Yeah, one of the reasons I hate buying books off the internet. But it was really, really, really fucking good. This is like a good starting place, honestly, which is nice. You know what else is a nice thing? Our patrons.
Patrons!
Who go to patreon.com/dimecomicbros network and help support this show. We owe a thank you to Jeff Lawrence and Caitlin. They help keep the lights on, or in this case, the lights off and the air conditioning on. It is the middle of summer, and my balls are sweaty.
My butthole is sweaty.
Likey.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of different tiers that we have with cool rewards like stickers, bookmarks, art done by Collin, art commissions. You get exclusive and early access to a lot of stuff on our Patreon. So you get early access to all of our podcasts by a couple of days. And you get exclusive access to segments we call happy hours, where after most podcasts, we'll crack open a beer, talk shop, talk shit, random bullshittery, lots of jokes and inappropriate remarks are made. Silly shenanigans and whatnot. So that's all on our Patreon. Go subscribe to our free Substack newsletter. It is in the description for all of our podcasts. Jacob works very hard on that. It's just a recap and a visual aid for all of our shows. Follow along, look at some of the art we're looking at, so you kind of, you get what we're doing. It also includes the script for all of our news segments. Go to our website at dimecomicbros.com if you want some more information as to other projects of ours, as well as looking at some of Collin's pretty artwork. And our sources for the news. Go follow our Twitter and Instagram for updates and social media shit and stuff and things and stuff. Next week, we're going to be watching the Sin City movie, which is directed by Frank Miller. So that'll be a fun escapade. And I think we're dropping Secret Invasion. I have a strong feeling. I think we're going to be... I think the vote has been had, so... shenanigans will ensue.
Yeah, show his ass.
Make sure to tune in for that. Thank you for listening, and thank you for coming. Oh, kitty. There's a baby. Oh, kitty.
Arf, arf.
Woof.
Bark for mommy.
I listen to music where the lead singer barks.
Yep, and I gotta do this quick. I gotta leave. Actually, I got time. You go.
That hurt.
Makes me want to shit.
Don't you always want to shit?
Not really.
I think you do.
I don't always want to shit. I just always have to shit.
Born to shit, forced to wipe.
Yeah.